This is Maximiliano Padilla. I signed him in my recent Famalicão save for his progressive passing, but fast forward 1 year and he was kinda disappointing in that regard. Let's figure out why. I want to know whether it's a tactical issue, a player issue, or maybe a bit of both. Then we can look at how to improve it. Welcome to the Moneyball Clinic, where I'll be using in-game performance data to analyse the squad, create a simple tactic, and suggest practical transfer targets. We should probably start by identifying what a progressive pass is. FBref defines it as a pass that moves the ball 10 yards closer to the goal than it originally was, or any completed pass from outside the penalty area into it. Somewhat confusingly, that means this pass is progressive, and this almost identical pass isn't. Let's take a look at Padilla's completed passes from our league game at home against Benfica, removing backwards passes and short passes. I've chosen a home game because I know our pitch is 115 yards long, and from this I can calculate the distance between where a pass started and where it completed. If we take this pass here, the ball started 103 yards away from goal and finished 81 yards away from goal. That means the ball is now 22 yards closer to the opposition's goal. This is a progressive pass. The other passes move the ball 11 yards closer, 6 yards, 7 yards, 16 yards, 20 yards, 2 yards, and 3 yards. From those 8 passes, 4 of them are progressive. It is worth noting that the 20-yard pass here would have been progressive even if under 10 yards, because it originated outside the penalty area but finished inside. I can pop back to the main screen here and we can see that Padilla completed 4 progressive passes, which is a relief. It means that FM24 records progressive passes the same way as FBref. Now we know what progressive passes are, and we know how many Padilla made, so let's now see whether he's being as progressive as he should, or if he's passing up opportunities. Here are all his passes in that Benfica game. There are 8 I want to look at in particular. In the 21st minute, Padilla receives the ball from João, takes a couple of touches, and then tries to carry it himself before it breaks for Fonseca. In doing so, he passed up an opportunity to feed Sarr. In the 32nd minute, he receives the ball after we recycle a corner. He passed inside, but could have maintained pressure on the opposition by pushing it back out to Fonseca. In the 38th minute, there are a series of passes. After regaining the ball from a throw-in, he plays back to João when the pass to Assunção would have been better. When he gets it back, there is an opportunity to feed Sarr, but it would have been difficult on his weaker foot. On the ball again, he drives inside when he could have played forwards. Finally, Padilla sends the ball out wide to Fonseca when I would have preferred it pinged in here. Padilla keeps missing his chances to pass to Sarr, and I get it. I mean, look at this floppy haired prick, all youthful and smiley. A constant reminder I'm getting Padilla's getting old. In the 66th minute, Padilla again chooses João over Assunção. This pass would have forced João Neves to jump, in turn creating space for Gustavo Sarr. Finally, in the 96th minute, Padilla could have pinged the ball into Alex Dobre here, or with communication from his teammates, could turn and play it out wide to Fonseca. Instead, he plays it safe. I've loosely categorised these. Yellow for risk averse, situations where he could have been progressive, but the pass would have been difficult. Red for missed opportunity, situations where he should have been progressive, but in my opinion made a bad decision. And blue for not really relevant here, situations where he could have made a better pass, but it wouldn't have been a progressive pass anyway. That's 6 progressive passes refused, but only 2 that I would consider egregious. Not beyond the realm of human error, but I do expect better. You see, Maximiliano Padilla is meant to be an elite passer, so I'd expect him to be able to pull off some of these opportunities. I can also see that he likes to run with ball often, and that may indicate why he chose to carry in some situations instead of pass. These are things that we can address tactically. But before we do that, I want to take a look at the man he replaced. Matteo Catali was on loan when I took over midway through the 24-25 season. He played 12 games for me in all competitions, where he completed 6.25 progressive passes per 90. That's 30% more than Padilla's 4.75. It's a smaller sample size, but it begs the question: why can Catali do it, but Padilla can't? First, we need to talk about proportions. Catali didn't just complete 1.5 more progressive passes per 90, he completed 4.82 more passes in total than Padilla. 14.1% of Catali's passes moved the ball closer to the goal by 10 yards or greater. This is just 12% for Padilla, but we can see that the difference isn't as stark as the raw numbers suggest. We should also consider the tactics used. We switched between 3 different shapes, all with the same instructions, depending on the strength of opposition. 4-3-3 for difficult games, 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-4 for more favourable matchups. Matteo Catali started 9 games in the 4-3-3, 0 in the 4-2-3-1 and 3 in the 4-2-4. Maximiliano Padilla started 15 games in the 4-3-3, 10 in the 4-2-3-1 and 5 in the 4-2-4. What stands out here is that Catali played 75% of his games in the 4-3-3 compared to Padilla's 50%. I would contend that this is the formation that provides more options for progressive passes because this central midfielder starts closer. That's not to say that Padilla can't or shouldn't improve. I still expect more from him, but it helps provide context as to why the output is different. Let's pop back to the tactics board, a reminder of how we set up. It's a balanced mentality. We play wide, at a high tempo, and ask our right wing back to overlap. We whip crosses in. In transition we counter, and we roll the ball out for defenders to launch it forwards. Out of possession it's an aggressive low block, pressing and hard tackling, whilst funneling play outside. Our right wing back is asked to stay wider and dribble less. Our deep lying playmaker is asked to play more direct passes and tackle harder. Our defensive midfielder is asked to take more risks, dribble more and tackle harder. In the 4-3-3, our attacking central midfielder is asked to move into channels. Our left back is asked to cross from deep and hold position. We will now ask them to play more direct passes, dribble less, and take more risks. By trying to get Padilla to play more progressive passes, we're hoping to get the ball to our more dangerous players more frequently, ultimately in the hope of scoring more goals. That comes with risk. We are also likely to lose possession more frequently and concede more goals. Max Padilla was not the only signing last season, so let's give a brief recap before we look to strengthen the squad further. In our first summer, we retooled the defence. Tomas Domingos joined Padilla at fullback. Usman Zhao came in at centre-back, all ahead of our new goalkeeper Ricardo Silva. Felipe Fonseca arrived from Ituano for 110k, alongside Heriberto Tavares to add depth to our wing positions. And it was a success. We broke Portugal's Big Three, recording Famalicão's best ever league finish and secured Champions League football. The star man was John de Cadiz, whose 70% header win rate and 1.02 goals per 90 were truly astonishing. But there were some passengers. Backup centre-back Elias Calderon won only 47% of his tackles, so we've shipped him off to St Etienne for 700k. Unai Bilbao was a liability in the air, winning only 48% of his headers, so he's also gone. They'll be replaced by Matias Costa, who's dependable in his duels, willing to be a backup and available for free. And Felipe Relvas, another great at winning his tackles and headers, another free transfer. Martin Aguirre-Gabiria was okay, but not great at winning his tackles. In the final year of his contract, he's been sold to Real Oviedo for 350k. We won't replace him directly. Instead, Zé Carlos will cover at right back and will reinforce the midfield. Martin Ferreira arrives from Benfica's B team, an active defensive presence who keeps the ball safe and helps progression. 115k. Temperley's Aldo Maiz harasses like crazy, wins his tackles, then breaks forward and gets goals. He cost us 215k. Alex Dobre equally was solid, but his teammates were better, so he's gone to Bolton for 800k. In his place, Belenenses Thiago Meninias, whose attacking output in Liga dos was sensational, available for just €98,000. Finally, Janderson is also on his way out. He did well but was ultimately third choice. He's gone for $325k to Sporting Gijon, with youth given a chance to fill his role. We also signed Salgueiros' Rafael Alves to be our third choice keeper after Cristiano Figueiredo retired. Nothing to do with stats, just old and Portuguese with no demands to play. That's 6 players out for €2.4 million and 6 players in for barely a fifth of that. Some of that profit, however, will go to our increased wage budget, now up by 19k per week or just shy of 1 million extra over the course of the season. All that's left to do is play the game. Same rules as always. All responsibilities have been delegated except those pertaining to transfers and tactics. Holiday between games, pick the starting lineup, then hit instant result. Repeat ad nauseum. Let's start by looking at Max Padilla. He increased his progressive passes from 4.75 to 5.88 per 90. That's a nearly 25% increase. He also completed more passes overall, but proportionately his progressive pass rate went up, from 12.1% to 13.5%. I would consider this a success, but it means nothing if results aren't forthcoming. Another cup final defeat, this time at the hands of Porto in the Allianz Cup. Benfica bested us in the semi-finals of the Taça de Portugal. We snuck into the knockout rounds of the Champions League, but lost on penalties to Fenerbahce. We lost more games in the Liga Portugal than the previous season too. A 4-0 thumping at the hands of reigning champions Sporting was disheartening. A 2-1 reverse against Braga, devastating. An 81st minute equaliser saw us drop points against Portimonense, and we threw away a possible win against Gil Vicente. But we finished with fewer draws than the season prior. More importantly, we finished with more wins. A 3-1 win over Porto was undoubtedly the highlight, in a season that included a 6-0 demolition of Vizela and 5-0 victories over Nacional and Belenenses. Felipe Relvas was decent defensively and a threat from set pieces. Martin Ferreira showed promise in limited minutes as a progressive passer. Aldo Maiz displayed the attacking instinct we wanted from deep. Matias Costa was constantly injured, whilst Thiago Meninias was good at everything but the things we wanted him to do. That's fine, he was brought in to be fourth choice. Jose Luis Rodriguez is our goal-scoring winger, Heriberto Tavares our creative winger, and Felipe Fonseca does a little bit of both. Up front, Jean de Cadiz remains an unstoppable force. 35 goals last season, 37 this time around. I love this man. And that was enough to secure back-to-back third-place finish. We scored 2 more goals than last season, conceded the exact same amount, and improved our points tally by 3. It's always satisfying when a plan comes to fruition. We wanted to improve Padilla's progressive passing, and we did, without compromising our overall performance. But success comes at a price. Zaidou Youssef, Otso Lemata and Ujman Jiao want new contracts, all for more than we can afford. Others are likely to follow suit, so the upcoming summer is going to see big changes. Looks like that will be the next episode. See you then. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like or maybe even subscribing. And if you want to support the channel further, you can join these wonderful folk currently adorning your screen, either as a YouTube member or a patron.